Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to APU Industry Career Live webinar session. My name is Cynthia from Asia Pacific University, and I'm your host for this session. So today is the last day of our Industry Career Live webinar series. This is a series basically full of webinars where we cover various topics across many study areas such as AI, psychology, AR, VR, fintech, data science, cybersecurity, and many, many more. So you guys can actually log on to our website at apu.edu.my to check out a full list of live webinars for you guys to watch after this session. So while waiting for more people to join us, I would just like to make a small announcement to invite you all to join our APU e-Open Day to find out more about APU programs, whether it's pre-university programs, undergraduate, or even postgrad programs. Do visit our website again at apu.edu.my and sign up. We'll have our counselors to contact you guys and also to guide you further. Okay, so now it's enough of the announcement. We're at 2:03 p.m. in Malaysia. So before we start, let me allow me to walk you through briefly on our topic this session, which is business with a technology edge, gain your competitive advantage. We have all gone through the transformation of business firsthand since last year when the pandemic started. So our lifestyle has changed, and so is our way of purchasing goods and services, which most likely involve the usage of technologies and the internet. So whether we like it or not, we can't deny the fact that we have already slowly adapted to this new normal now. So to share with you more in a business sense, okay, how this new normal is also affecting the role of business in society and the way businesses operate today, okay, we have a speaker with us, Associate Professor Dr. Jason James Turner, who is the head of school of APU School of Business. All right, so do feel free to ask any questions by typing in the comment section during the session. Okay, so without further ado, let us start our session now. Dr. Jason, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. You can hear me and see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Fantastic. There we go. So that's technology in action. Do we have the technology so we can act on business? So thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. And welcome, everyone. So business, I've been doing a few of these talks over the last 2 weeks or so, and beyond. I've been doing them for years, but they're getting more of a focus now in terms of not only infusing technology in the way we do business, but also infusing the way that we teach business. So I was delivering a session on Friday in the UK with a couple of colleagues, and we're talking there about using digital platforms and enabling the use of technology to ensure that students are more graduate ready, if you like, for the workplace, because it's not only the knowledge that you're getting, it's the understanding of how to facilitate that knowledge. So today, I'm going to walk you through some of the key areas that you should be aware of in terms of business. Because I know it's quite a daunting decision to make a career-defining decision to go to university and what to study. So I think my job today is just to give you some insight into that, what employers are looking for, because it's what we call the quadruple helix, which is government perspective, industry perspective, university perspective, and student perspective, which includes students that are here, prospective students, and also alumni. So we package these insights together to deliver a program or programs of study that future-proof you for the marketplace. So, as I said, it's a big decision to make. And you may be thinking, well, why should I study business? Is it right for me as an undergraduate? What can I do with a business degree? What are the career opportunities open to me? So we will cover these three areas today. So hopefully at the end of, I'll speak for about 40 minutes or so and then leave some areas for questions. And what I've tried to do is today is include, having done this at previous times before, every time I kind of add and change the lecture dynamic, just so it just reflects what you as prospective students and parents of prospective students are the questions that you might ask or would like to know. So if you're looking here about the business programs, they must be either implicitly or explicitly infused with digital technology. Now, what do I mean by that? It means that the modules have to be a marriage between business and technology. There is no way around it now. You cannot have a business program that does not have technology running right the way through it. Now, technology, that a lot of people call it digital. A lot of people call it technology infused. Whatever the phraseology that we use, it must have. And I'm going to give you some examples as we go through this, because when you graduate in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, it will be a completely different environment. There's a lot of uncertainty. How do we transition to an uncertain marketplace? How do we deal with uncertainty? So these modules have to be in terms of a business. Now, I think you can all imagine we're all in a state of transition. We're all in a state of how do we cope with an uncertain market? Well, you're going to have to know these aspects of business. So that's why we focus on digital transformation in business, change, dealing with global crisis. All these aspects are brought into strategy, to have a plan, to have an appropriate marketing approach, whatever your business is. So that's why we're saying business is so important, and it has changed perhaps rapidly over the last couple of years. So as the market changes and as students change, the way they learn, the way they absorb information, we also have to change. And as universities, we have to be not just one, but 2 steps ahead of the market and students, so we can give you the the necessary tools that when you graduate, you will be ready for a job. Now, as I said, it's not just the modules, the programs, it's the platforms that we use. Also, it's that engagement with business. And I'll be talking to you a little bit about that later. So we also look at like unemployment rates. Unemployment rates in Malaysia, if you look, there's a lot of jobs, but is it the right level of job for graduates? So what we try to do is look at that business executive and leadership mindset that will set our graduates ahead of graduates from other institutions, because there is that gap between a lot of graduates saying, well, there's a lot of jobs out there, but is there a lot of jobs there for those executives? And there's obviously less jobs for executives than there is for, sort of blue collar type workers. So that's why we work extra hard to make sure that our graduates have not only the employability skill set, not only the knowledge, but that high level engagement with business. So that's why there's about 20 slides in this presentation today. So because we're greedy, we don't want to just think about your degree. We're thinking about a whole bundle of certificates and accreditations that you will need to set yourselves apart from other graduates. Okay, so you need to study business. You need to have that not only global mindset, but that digital mindset. And business is infused in all aspects. You can't get away from it. If you look at AI, you start looking at fintech, etc. It would be involved in a business. You would have to understand how a business works. So business is infused across all aspects of technology. So it's not only technology infusing business, business infuses technology. Now, I've been speaking for about 5 minutes or so, and you all say, okay, that sounds quite plausible, Jason. Yeah, and I understand that. Bill Gates says the same thing. And if I was to go to other famous individuals that have combined technology with business, they'll all say the same thing. You cannot get away with this. He talks about that interwoven nature. It must be related. If you want to conduct business nowadays, you must be aware of technology. Now, look how businesses have transitioned. They're perhaps been more face-to-face, but with the MCO here in Malaysia, no choice. They've had to look at other means to sell their products and services. So that has been, for example, using Grab Food, Food Panda, maybe becoming app-enabled, looking more at selling products online. So there is no way around it. And so you must be digitally aware. And some businesses have said, well, I'm not so digitally or technology aware. So what can I do? I'm going to employ graduates that know this, that have been engaging with some organizations. We have a digital platform, Home Deal, which allows students that first-hand experience of dealing with business and digital platforms. So you're in front and center position to deal with that situation in the marketplace, which makes you very desirable and very employable. Now, we can always put in some figures, and you can Google it and say, is mobile shopping increasing? And the obvious answer is yes. What you have to think about is the rapid growth. Now, that is key. So if we look here about sales via mobile devices, so that mobile technology is infused in our business degrees because it's how people are communicating now. They become interconnected with their phones. So in first year, we always do some psychology testing and saying, if you could pass your phone to someone else, people feel very uncomfortable because it's your life on a phone. And if you think about the ease of shopping now, so that mobile shopping, mobile business, you must be mobile enabled. So this is another thing which is coming in. I've received questions from prospective students before and their parents, because this is a huge investment in your son or daughter's career. And you're thinking, well, is this the right choice for my son or my daughter? And should it be APU? Because there's a lot of choice out there. And I'm just building up here talking about technology, mobile technology, and instantly you go, well, EPU is a technology university. So they should be at the forefront of use of technology. We have cybersecurity, we have fintech, we have artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality. And you start going, if we can harness that with business, well, we get the best of both worlds. That's why our business graduates are in a very strong position, because they're getting that understanding of technology. And we have it on our doorstep. You know, our graduates can go, excuse me, it's not, where do we go to go and get this insight? Do we have to go to KL? Do we have to go to somewhere else? No, you just have to go to another level, or just walk a few hundred yards and you can get to go and see the cyber labs. You can go and see the virtual reality labs. So that harnessing of technology with business is there on our campus. And obviously, at the moment, because of the MCO, it's harnessed online and how we deliver our modules, the content of those modules, and the knowledge of the staff. So it's not to be underestimated, because these figures tell the story. You know, it's saying it's a huge increase of online sales, and people go, well, yeah, that's obvious. I know that. What does it mean for me, my son, my daughter, that's going to go to university? Why should they study this? Because it's a growth area, and it will continually be a growth area. Why should they study at APU? Because we have these that's a huge investment from the university into that technology, and it's infused in the programs. So it's not the case of going, how could we use AI? We don't have any knowledge of AI. We are in this very fortunate position to go, which modules from the AI, from the School of Technology and the School of Computing should we use? And by the same standard, they're looking at their programs going, okay, we've got business-infused technology. Which ones shall we bring in? Which ones are right for our students to bring into the computing, technology, programming, computer science programs, etc.? So it's the best of both worlds. You know, I haven't always been at APU. I've been in Malaysia now for 5 years, and I've been at other institutions. And what attracted me, because I've been in a similar situation to you, going, I've got a big choice ahead. What should I do? And I chose EPU for that simple reason. It's technology and business. So it sets you apart from other graduates. It's not the case of, these are the things we should be doing. These are the things that we are doing. So technology, it brings in everything. Now, these are just words. You know, it gives you opportunities, expands business, increases productivity, and streamlines efficiency and communication. Okay, how? How does it do that? Well, the customer experience has now gone from more of a face-to-face to more of a virtual environment. So technology has to support that. So if you look at the increase in chatbots for the customer experience, if you look at our business model, it's had to change. We've had to transition now towards more of a digital focus, digital communications. Our operations are now, perhaps our logistics is now going to have to change because of the pandemic. And it's made us rethink how we think about business, which means that the way the modules are taught and the content of the modules have to reflect this. Now, bear this in mind. Traditional business and models still have currency. They must. We still understand business change models. We still understand marketing, but it must have a digital edge. That's why we've said business with a technology, with technology infused to give you a competitive advantage. We haven't simply transitioned to a complete digital experience. You need that fundamental in business. Business is still business. It's just conducted in a different platform. What do you need? What are these skills? I think when obviously I'm involved in digital transformation, and I was speaking to one of my PhD students about this on Thursday night, and we said, think about it. When you're transitioning to a different business environment, you've got to manage change. APU, almost overnight, had to transition. We were already in a strong position. We were already delivering online. But in that sense, it was from face-to-face to completely going online. How do you manage that change? How do you manage people, staff? How do you train? Think about the HR aspect to move from working in the business environment in the office to moving completely online, working from home. How do you manage change? So think about your strategy. It is now digitally infused. The applied research, the big data that's required now, and the analysis, the analytics of that, we're now able to track. Think about your own apps. So we're able to map what your preferences are to deliver a better customer experience. We've then got to look at resource planning. We're now getting more and more purchasing online. How do we cope? What's our supply chain? What are our resources from, say, we're buying in from China, from other countries, factoring in other aspects of the pandemic and how other countries are affected by the pandemic. So these are all impacting. So we need to be problem solvers. We need to be creative thinkers. We need to be able to work to a very limited timeline. So already you should be going, it's not only these big 5 factors, we also need an additional skill set, which underpins all our modules and all our programs. So it's not the case of how we manage change. It's, are we giving our graduates the skill set, the tools to manage that change? So that is the being able to adhere to specific timelines. That is having those problem solving and critical thinking sort of skill set and tools. So it's more than this. And we're already alluding to digitally infused businesses is the way forward. It has to be. I think everyone agrees with that. But it's more. It's the employability skill set and the level of engagement with business. So that's why we don't, in our program highlights, don't just simply say it's all about industry developed, it's all about digitally infused. There's 5 areas here, and think about it. We have business management, we have international business management, we have international relations, which are being stretched and stressed as we go on in life. So we have the digital specialisms. So the other thing that you should be saying is, why are all your programs not got a digital heading, Jason? Well, we give students a choice. It's all about choice because it's an uncertain market. So we are giving you control over what decisions you're going to make. So we give you all these choices: business management or business management with a specialism. All our modules and programs are digitally infused, some more explicitly than others. You have that choice. So you have some control over your learning. We also have micro-credentials, which allows you the opportunity to dip into other areas of APU programs, say in computing, technology, design, engineering, to just add to your graduate skill set. Choice again, because we don't want you in the position to go, I've chosen a program. I wish in second year I had chosen because I'm interested in this area. You still have these opportunities. So these are things that we are aware of to make you think about and give you that level of choice. Digital management and skills is across, as I said, all our modules and programs. Industry collaboration. We give real business experience. We have just numerous webinars. We just recently we had seminars with LinkedIn and the importance of networking, the importance of leadership skills in industry, the importance of that, to have that, the professionalization of graduates. So we're always having webinars and seminars. A multicultural environment. That is something else that you're culturally aware. You're going to graduate and have to deal with people from across the globe. We have students from 130 countries, which presents a challenge because you have all these countries representatives. So our timetabling has to reflect different zones, time zones, people from all these countries. But we do that so you've got that more rounded experience. So you're getting insight into culture, digitization of the workplace, the learning platforms, the employability skill set, as well as the business environment and engagement with business. We have competitions. Our students, our three first-year students won the DIYC inaugural competition, 100,000 ringgits seed funding for their business idea. We have an entrepreneurial hub to encourage, develop the entrepreneurial spirit amongst our students. So we have, talent and support networks within the organization. When I gave a presentation on Friday to our DMU partners at a conference, they were particularly excited about that opportunity because students are now becoming a lot more entrepreneurial. They are working from home. They're realizing the importance of podcasts, of learning online, the importance of building up their own digital presence, becoming iconic. If you look now at sales online, if you look now at people that you will follow, celebrity influencers, a lot of them are quite young individuals. They're your age and they've set up, they're getting sponsorship because they're building up a presence and an ID. Now, people my age, it becomes more difficult trying to get a young and enthusiastic following. But people your age, if you haven't already done so, that's something else to build up your profile. And there's a lot of competitions that we engage in that encourages you and supports you in doing that. So you come out to a business and say, I am a 22-year-old. I have so many followers and I've got a dual business degree. I understand technology. I'm digitally literate. I've engaged with businesses. I've got a good internship under my belt. I've got networks and contacts all over the world. You're quite employable, and that's why we have a good employability record. You have a story to tell rather than, I got a first-class degree. What else? Because employers are greedy. So you really have a story there. And I could give you a personal story of a friend of mine that was really wrestling with giving over millions of marketing money to a celebrity who was 18, 19 years of age. And he says, he was my age or slightly older. And he went, I would go through the traditional mediums, TV, radio, newspapers. I'm going to give millions to a celebrity because of the amount of followers that they have. And he did. And his business has been very successful. So that is your opportunity while you're doing your business degree to build up your presence and digital footprint and identity. And you're known. So when you're going to business, you're adding value. It's all about adding value. We add value to our programs. You have to add value to your personal, identity. Now, someone asked me before, so I've added in a couple of slides because I usually say, we deal with e-business, and students or prospective students and their parents have said, yeah, there's other universities have offered e-commerce. Is there a difference? So I kind of break it down into the e-commerce and e-business scenario, and also saying that I developed about 8-10 years ago an e-commerce degree. It's been around for a long time. E-business involves e-commerce. So if you do e-business, you get the best of both worlds. You're getting e-business and e-commerce. If you do e-commerce, there's likely to be a lack of e-business in there. So you're getting a cut down version of the degree. Again, it's adding value. E-commerce, yes, we have ERP modules, which include online selling, online booking, social networking, the buying and selling, the supply chain aspects of commerce. We have that. There's a number of modules I'll get to in a couple of minutes on that. So the e-commerce part is infused in our e-business degree. So I think everyone sees the relevance of this in business. Yes, I've bought, probably not, you haven't bought cinema tickets for a while online, but you've booked online. You haven't booked flights online, but you can remember that far back when we were able to book flights. Online banking. I think everyone understands the necessity of e-commerce. And e-business is that payment system, but it's more. It's understanding the data that we get back, responsive to feedback, analyzing that information to deliver a better customer service, understanding our resources, managing them better, training our staff so that they are more aware, more able to deliver a more future-facing delivery of service, the management of information, understanding the law, data protection as we are more digitally aware. That's why we have law. That's why we have a module involving culture and cultural diversity. And you think, wait a minute, why? We've even got this module, I'm teaching it just now, to computing and technology students. And they ask the same question and going, why are we doing this, Jason? We're doing technology, we're doing computer programming. So you're not going to work with anyone from another country except Malaysia. Well, no, I hope to work for Google. Okay, so they're not diverse. Yes. And so it's that. So a lot of degrees don't have that. We do, because you need to be able to relate to people in business. And when you're outsourcing, this is all part of the resource management, they're all coming from different countries. If you have an understanding of culture and how people process information and interact, you're going to build relationships. You're going to be able to do business more efficiently and more successfully. So if you understand where people are coming from. So business, rather than just one aspect of business, the commerce part, we deal with very much the whole aspect of e-business. Now, what doesn't speak doesn't lie. This is why if you look there, we have, they do have e-business, but they have e-commerce. We have the fundamentals of entrepreneurship to encourage that entrepreneurial mindset so that you're giving yourself opportunities. As a parent, you're looking at your son and daughter saying, I want to make sure that they've got, a good job at the end of this. So you're giving your son or daughter that choice. So yes, they've got an understanding of entrepreneurship. They've got an understanding of SAP, which is the business standard. They understand more creativity and innovation, which means that they can go into perhaps other areas of design and marketing. They're thinking about procurement so they can go more in terms of supply chain. They've got the digital marketing mindset. They've got the management and the leadership, which means they can go into HR. It opens up doors and choices. You know, you've probably heard from my colleagues about, why do a computer science degree? It opens doors. Why do a business management degree with or without a specialism? Why do international business management? It opens doors. It makes you more employable. It gives you choice. And that's what we are all about. Maybe the degree in the future, in 10 years' time, will just be, you choose whatever you want. Difficulties with that is you will have a non-developed, kind of classified degree, because it's something from everywhere. But here, this is as close as you're going to get to as much choice within a subject discipline of business. Now, I've said it's not only about that. So that excites me. That makes me go, yeah, I wish I had done that when I was at university. But it has to be more than that. We have to then engage with business. And we have spent significant amounts of money on CMI, which is a Chartered Management Institute, which is accrediting our programs, which means there's the opportunity there for certification. So you can go to employers, I've engaged with business. So it's a bundle of certificates I have. I've also got the SAP certificate. I've also got the Home Deal certificate. I understand ERP modules there, as it says here: finance, planning, inventory management, reporting, CRM, human resources. I'm very rounded in terms of business management. But it's one of the other things that we did with CMI is they provide mentoring, give you access to job resources, help you with your CV, etc. There's a lot of added value there. So it's not only engagement with business for certificates, it's engagement with business so they give us opportunities for further engagement with other companies and giving you the skills and the means to showcase your skills to employers. So it's a lot of added value here, a lot of choice. We also work with Erasmus to give you that diversity, engagement with culture, because 130 plus countries represented at APU, you're engaging, but how do you show that and say, well, I've actually done modules that have been sponsored and promoted by Erasmus Plus and our Friends partnership, which is worth significant amounts of money to APU. And we've invested that straight into the students with our tea house on campus and the modules that we deliver, which is also certificated and allows students to critically reflect on themselves and prepare a digital story, which is a portfolio that you can show employers. So employers go, okay, so you've actually reflected on your own experiences. You've actually created a digital story, which is another skill set. How did you do that? How there's other software to use, other platforms to use. You really are enhancing your employability skill set. So what sort of jobs are out there? Remember I said in the second slide, you're interested in what to study, why should I study, and what am I going to do when I graduate? You've got all these choices. You could become an entrepreneur or a technopreneur. So more technology enabled, or just a business that has transitioned into the technology field. You could be a project manager. You could be an advisor, a consultant, a digital strategist, digital technology consultant. You're just giving yourselves choices. So in that sense, a lot more executive level and above jobs, which is where there are a limited number of jobs, but you are in a very, very strong position to beat the opposition in that sense, because you've got that skill set. It's a very rounded skill set in the area of business. Now, there's other areas. Digital leadership. We're looking at digital transformation, digital execution. There are roles here about looking at chief digital officers. We have chief information officers, but the people that are going to lead digital transformation, bring all the people, think about the training, think about developing staff, etc. We have a specialism in digital leadership. Not many institutions across the globe have, which if you were to do that, really sets yourself up for organizations that are looking at chief digital officers, where they can come from the IT sector, but are increasingly coming from the business sector because they understand business and they understand the transition in this information age. So there are what we're saying is it's not only manager role, there could be senior roles here open to fresh graduates because they have something that other graduates don't have, which is that insight into leading. Not just, hey, I understand digital transformation, so when my senior manager or CEO tells me, I'm familiar. You have actually got a degree which has that area of specialization, which means that you have the capacity to lead, to take a senior role within an organization. So, and now is the time. And people go, well, too young. Well, no. If you're good enough, you're old enough. You know, there's people in their 40s running countries. If you look, I'm Scottish, obviously, if you didn't already gather that. And one of Scotland's best players was a 19-year-old who plays for Chelsea. 19. And a lot of people say, oh, too young to play at that level. Well, at 19, he's already won the Champions League with Chelsea. He's already represented his country at European Championships and was the best player on the park against England. So that shows you that you can be a chief digital officer and lead an organization at a very young age. Do not let age be a restriction. Now, I said at the outset, so as I'm winding up, so I've got some time for questions. The 6 skills to succeed. This isn't just me that's saying this. This is based on our engagement with business. This is speaking to alumni, current students. Remember I said the quadruple helix, the government, where they're moving to. And this is based upon, so this is our skill set. And this is the skills that you will have. Now, you'll notice there, wait a minute, he keeps talking about technology and, digital. That's only skill number 6. There's other skills. And that's why I said to you, we need to engage with business, give you an employability skill set, and how we teach you. We have MOOCs in our program, which is self-directed learning. Why? Because you can learn time management. You can learn to motivate yourself. You can learn about dependency. So self-dependency. So that's what employers are looking for. Because when you go into industry, they'll say, very good, you've got 2 days training, then you could be on your own. How do you cope if we haven't already given you that skill? We have motivation. How do you motivate yourself in front of a laptop? So I just see the screen. I don't see any smiling faces. So what motivates me? What motivates you as a student? We have to give you those self-motivation skills. So when you go into industry, you can motivate others. I'm head of school. I have 35 staff. How do I motivate them? Do I have the skills to do that? Hopefully so. And keep them happy. So we give you that. How do you motivate your team? How do you motivate yourself? Empathy. What about people that are going through a tough time? Soft employability skills. Big thing that employers are looking for. You've got people that have mental health problems, have got difficulties in this pandemic. Do you empathize with them? We give you those soft skills as well. Employers are going to be suitably impressed when you walk through their doors. Are you able to adapt to change? Face-to-face learning, online learning. You had to cope with different assessments. I think every single graduate here is adaptable. They've dealt with change. And I said one of the skills that you've got to learn is organizational change in business. You have adapted. How do you help others adapt? You need motivation, empathy. You need to be adaptable. The next one is creativity. When things are going, when you're an unpredictable and uncertain market, you've got to be creative. And look at this now. You've got people never set up a business before. Now they've got 3,000 followers online. I used to bring in product. Now I'm bringing in products from China, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand. You've had to be quite creative. You've got to think about how you're marketing that. You've got to think about how you sell yourself and your business. We really are becoming quite creative. And that's why we have these digital stories in one of the modules to encourage you to be creative, express yourself so that you can become a better business person and also a better person on this planet because you've got the softer skills and the empathy. But big deal. That's why we give you real world business problems. So you've got to be creative. That's why we engage with Home Deal. So you're getting insight into real live problems that this is a problem. How would you fix it? So the creativity and innovation is so important. So it's not only technology infused, it's giving you these other skills. So if I was to say we're giving you a business degree, which is technology infused, it has to be other things. We have to work with industry. We have to give you that exposure. We have to develop your employability skills. We have to develop your soft skills. Otherwise, it's just technology. It's just something else. You won't be able to implement it successfully. So these are the things that you need to develop in terms of your skill set, and you do it at APU in our business programs. Now, look at all of our alumni. So this is my penultimate slide. These are our success stories, and they're just a handful. I could have gone on 4, 5, 6, 7 pages, but I would run out of time. And these are our business management graduates. And look, senior executive, business analyst, executives, helping into digital analytics, business development specialist. These people, these graduates, these alumni can help other businesses grow because getting a degree from our institution gives you that knowledge and skill set that you can help established businesses transition into the digital realm. So that's my cue to hand back to the lovely Cynthia. Hopefully that was informative. And now we open the floor to any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Jason. Yes, it is a very insightful sharing. I would say business and technology are actually getting more and more inseparable. Okay, so whatever your business is, eventually you will need the help of technology to bring you and your business to the next level. That's why it's very important for business students not just to have a business degree qualification, but also to graduate with the right digital skill set, knowledge, and also mindset to be the one driving the digital transformation for companies, and also to guide others to adapt and transform together. So I think that is a very good point from Dr. Jason mentioning just now. Okay, so we will open the floor for questions. Okay, so we have one question here for Dr. Jason. Many Asian parents will force their children to study hard and perform well in government exam, SPM, so that their children should study science stream, not business stream. So what do you think about this?
Yes, it's an issue because that doesn't stop you going to study business. It's because you've got the competitive edge. You have the understanding of social, the sort of the science. I know it's hard. It's the hard sciences, and a lot of people say you've got it's more difficult to study science than business. That's not true. I did maths, physics, So I did the sciences as well as the social sciences. So I think that, and people get grade obsessed, I think in Malaysia as well. So yes, I hear where you're coming from, but it shouldn't stop you going to do business. The other thing as well you might want to think about is you go into the science and you go and join, like you join APU, you go and do the sciences and explore some of the micro credentials in business. You can go and do the entrepreneurial hub and develop your business ideas. So you're still following a science stream, but you're getting exposure to business because you're on this planet for a long time. Okay, I've got to that age and I didn't always do business. I did political science, I did social science at university. I then went into IT, I did consultancy. I then went into business. I had my own business. I then looked at an MBA. I then went into business and then doing property development. I then went into teaching and then back into my own business, then back into teaching again. And I've stayed in teaching, but engaging with business. It's a long road that you're on, and you're making a choice, a decision, which is going to impact your career, but don't feel that you're being limited. So in this sense here, I have to do social. You could get exposure to business. You could do a business degree, or you could do it later, or you could do some business exposure whilst doing your science degree. You've got choice. Don't feel that you're being limited. That's why micro-credentials are so important. Students felt, that's it, I have to do 3 years now, and I've got no choice. We realize that. That's why you could get exposure to these business degrees and our entrepreneurial hub and go, hey, I've now got a computing degree, but I'm going to go into business. And you develop and you continuously personal development. You've got maybe a CMI qualification as well because you've done some additional modules or micro credentials. And before you know it, you transition from more computing in a business to leading a department to becoming the CEO in that organization. Because like CEOs, they don't all come from a business background. Look, like our deputy vice chancellor, our vice chancellor are engineers. So in that sense, our CEO is from a computing background. So he's head of a business, but comes from a computing background. So don't feel that you're kind of you're limited. I think we're only limited by our own imagination. And that's what I'm saying. It's all these skill set. If you're a very rounded person, you can come across in an interview and say, I understand business because I've got a computer science plus or a business science plus. So that's why I said at the start, it's business infused, but also it's technology infused with business. So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I agree that. So basically, whatever stream that you study in your school or your university doesn't limit you from pursue a degree pathway. Pursue a business pathway, because anyhow, if you have the passion in involving yourself into business, I guess that is where you will actually go very, very far with passion. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jason.
Thank you,
so
Leon.
we have another one. Okay, a big fan of Billy Gilmore here, with technology and business, complementing each other more than ever. How do you think the future of jobs will change, and how does APU business programs address this?
Okay, very good question. The business environment is constantly changing, and that's why we have these constant engagements with business. We're going through a program review here as well. We have the core modules which will never change: organizational change, marketing, understanding of the financial implications, managing people. These are core. These will never change. And what we do is we infuse it with that technology. So whether it's in the form of content and or electives, so students will have more choice. So in that sense, we change as the market changes. But what we try and do at APU is we try to go ahead of the market. So that's why these constant meetings, we have industry panels, engagement with ex-graduates to say what's happening. Our finger is on the pulse in marketplace. So we know what's going to happen. We can try and predict what the market is going to do and bring that into our modules so that we are better prepared, because you're absolutely right. If we just simply are reactionary, oh, the market's changed, we will have to change our modules. By the time we change our modules, the market's changed again. So we're always behind. What we have to do is constantly be innovative. And that's why at APU, having cutting edge technology gives us that advantage, because we're getting infused by the guys in AI, the guys in cybersecurity, the guys in digital aspects and technology enhancement say, hey, by the way, these are the future. We need to bring this in. So we're already bringing those things in. So when you're graduating, you go, hey, business is already doing this, or it's just bringing this in. You're ahead of the curve. We have to keep that going. And otherwise, if you don't have a technology university, you're a business-led university, you're relying on what others are doing, you're benchmarking against other universities, which is fine, but you don't have the skill set. So you're going, oh, God, right, I know that's what we should be doing, but we can't do it. If I'm saying we need to infuse a lot more about cybersecurity now, because as more people are buying online, we have to think more about the privacy, etc. Okay, we don't have any cybersecurity people here. We've got 12 at APU, we've got 15, we've got 20. So we just go, okay. So we're constantly ahead of the curve, and you must be, because the market is changing so much, that if you are not ahead of the curve, you're just going to become obsolete. And that's the thing. I was speaking to colleagues on Friday, and this is people my age saying, I've moved away from Facebook now. I'm not using Facebook anymore. We're now using podcasts. It's changing. As students change, as market changes, we shouldn't be reactionary to it. We should be ahead. So future of jobs is changing. And I think that's why I mentioned about the digital leadership. That isn't now, it's the future, which we've already embedded into our digital leadership last year. So these are things that are coming for when you graduate in a couple. It will become more of the norm, and employers will go, wow, are you a fortune teller? Because you're just qualified in exactly the same area that we need. You're right there at that spot, rather than, yeah, we were like e-commerce. Yeah, we kind of did that 5 years ago. So what makes your skill set relevant now? So that's what we're saying. The digital leadership's a good example of how the future job is changing and how we've addressed it last year. Not this year, not thinking about addressing it. We addressed it last year before it's even the norm coming in.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have our last question here. Okay, since you are a UK lecturer, would you use Western education system to teach APU students instead of following Asian education system? Okay, very interesting question.
Yes and no. I found out that when I first came here, I stick to what I know. And this is why I think our program of study breaks you out of your comfort zone. When I came here, I obviously taught in a UK fashion, which was independent learning. It was let the students just get on with it. Very much more limited my contact. It was all on the student. And I realized that was wrong because of cultural differences. You have the Asian way of learning, you have the more inclusive nature, and you have the Western, which is a lot more individual. Then I looked at the work ethic of our students here and their capacity to learn. Like where I live, you've got the kids that kind of stay next door. They're learning piano. They're learning different languages. They use up a lot of their spare time in this, developing their skills. So what I found out was students here kind of got a capacity to learn more. They got the capacity to be pushed more. So in that sense, it's like technology-infused business. it's an education system which is appropriate to Asian culture, but with some Western infusion. So it's like a menu which is Asian infusion menu, which is you're infusing the good bits of Western teaching into Asian culture. Now, the good bits are, we had more engagement with business. And also, so bringing in businesses into the workplace, and also more encouraging students to develop and be self-motivated. So in that sense, we've brought in a little bit of the individualistic Western culture into Asian education system. But I would say that the work ethic here is phenomenally high, and the creativity. Like students, when you think about it, well, I've been in Malaysia for 5 years, and you've heard things like Malaysians are creative parkers. You've heard things like Malaysians are creative at doing things, and they're creative in business. When the pandemic hit and these guys are saying, it's okay, I'll set up a mamat stall, because my business is closed, I'll set up a hawker stall, I'll do this, I'll diversify. Very creative, very innovative. It's in their DNA. And that's why we have the entrepreneurial DNA here at APU. That's why we have that running through our programs. So we're just adapting to something which is in Asian culture. It's in other cultures as well, Omani culture, etc. So we're just stimulating that with just a little bit of Western, a few Western ingredients into the Asian melting pot.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dr. Jason. All right, so we hope that we have shared enough of information and insights for you guys. Okay, so for those of you who has more questions, okay, you can always get in touch with us. Sign up for our e-open day. Okay, and then if you are interested to actually meet our academics, we can definitely schedule an appointment for you guys to meet our lecturers. Okay, all right. So time is almost up for our session, and I think we're going to end it here. Okay, so next up, guys, we have a very interesting topic on psychology. So it's the solving real world problems with psychology. So this session will be on live later this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. So guys, set your alarm. Be sure to tune in and find out more about psychology and its career prospects. Okay, that is all for now. A very, very big thanks to Dr. Jason again for joining us today.
Cynthia. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, all of you in front of the screen who are watching us, listening to us. Okay, we look forward to seeing you guys online or even on campus very, very soon. Yep. Have a good Sunday, everyone, and take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Stay safe, everyone. Okay, bye-bye.